Settle in gently now. Allow your body to rest in a comfortable position. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing slow down just a little. There is nothing you need to do. Nowhere you need to go. Only a quiet story to listen to. As the night becomes calm and still, tonight I will tell you a soft romantic story. A slow story. A gentle story about two souls who found each other, not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a quiet, peaceful, almost unnoticed way. It is a story about simple moments, about soft conversations, about the kind of love that grows slowly, like evening light fading into night. As the story moves forward, you may find your thoughts drifting, your mind becoming lighter, your body more relaxed. Just listen and rest. The story begins in a small town where days moved slowly and nights were quiet. It was the kind of place where people knew each other by name, where the sound of footsteps on a quiet street could be heard clearly, and where evenings arrived gently, without rush. In this town lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived a simple life. He woke up early each morning, made himself a cup of warm coffee, and watched the soft light of sunrise come through his window. He worked at a small bookstore, a quiet place filled with the scent of old paper and soft turning pages. Daniel liked silence, not because he was lonely, but because silence felt comfortable to him. It felt like space, like calm air, like something that did not ask too much. Each day, he arranged books on wooden shelves. He greeted a few visitors and spent long hours reading quietly behind the counter. His life was steady, peaceful, predictable. And for a long time, that was enough. One afternoon, during a soft, cloudy day, something small changed. The door of the bookstore opened, and a quiet bell rang above it. Daniel looked up, just as he always did, and there she was. Her name was Elena. She stepped inside slowly, as if she did not want to disturb the calm of the place. Her movements were gentle, her presence soft, like the quiet arrival of evening. She paused for a moment near the entrance, taking in the room, the shelves, the light, the stillness. Then she began to walk between the rows of books, her fingers lightly brushing against the spines, as if she was greeting each one quietly. Daniel watched for a moment, not in a curious or intense way, but simply noticing. There was something calm about her, something that matched the quiet rhythm of the bookstore. After a few minutes, she approached the counter. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft. She asked for a book. Daniel nodded and helped her find it. Their conversation was short, simple, just a few words, but something about it lingered, not in a strong or overwhelming way, but like a gentle echo, something that stayed quietly in the background. She left the store not long after. The bell rang again as the door closed. And the bookstore returned to its usual silence, but Daniel noticed something. The silence felt slightly different. Not empty, just changed. Days passed. The rhythm of life continued. Morning light, warm coffee, quiet shelves, soft footsteps. And then a few days later, the bell rang again. She returned. Elena walked in with the same quiet presence, the same gentle steps. This time, she did not hesitate near the entrance. She moved comfortably through the store, as if she already knew the space. Daniel greeted her with a small nod. She smiled softly and returned. Again. Their conversation was simple. A question about a book, a quiet answer, asterisk, a few exchanged words. Nothing more, but something was growing. Slowly, something quiet, steady, almost invisible. Over the next weeks, she came back again and again. Not every day, not on a fixed schedule, but often enough that her presence became part of the bookstore's rhythm. Daniel began to notice the small details, the way she paused before choosing a book, the way she read the first page slowly, as if feeling each word, the way she smiled gently when she found something she liked. And Elena, she noticed things too. The way Daniel carefully arranged books, the calm way he spoke, the quiet patience in his movements. Neither of them spoke about these things. They did not need to. The silence between them was not empty. It was comfortable. It was soft. One evening, as the light outside began to fade, Elena stayed a little longer than usual. The sky outside the window turned into soft shades of orange and blue. The town grew quieter. And inside the bookstore, there was only the faint sound of pages turning. She approached the counter, holding a book in her hands, but this time, she did not speak right away. She stood there for a moment. And then, gently, she said, "It's very peaceful here." Daniel looked up and nodded. "Yes, it is." There was a pause. A calm, comfortable pause. Then she added, "I like coming here." Her voice was soft, almost like a whisper. Daniel felt something warm, not strong, not overwhelming, just quiet warmth. "I'm glad," he said, and that was all, but somehow it felt like more. From that evening on, their conversations became a little longer, still gentle, still simple, but slowly they began to share small parts of themselves, favorite books, quiet memories, simple thoughts about life. They did not rush. There was no need. Each conversation unfolded slowly, like pages turning one by one. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into quiet months, and without noticing exactly when it happened, their presence in each other's lives became natural. Sometimes Elena would arrive just before sunset, and they would sit near the window, not always speaking. Sometimes just watching the light change, the sky growing softer, the world becoming quieter. And in those moments, words were not needed. The silence between them was gentle, warm, safe. One evening, as the first stars appeared, Elena spoke softly. "Do you ever feel like time moves slower here?" Daniel thought for a moment. "Yes," he said. "Like it gives you space to breathe." She nodded. "Yes, that's it." Another pause. Soft, unhurried. Then she looked at him. Not directly, just gently. "I feel calm here," she said. Daniel's voice was quiet. "I feel calm when you're here." The words were simple, but they stayed. Softly, deeply. Elena did not answer right away. She simply smiled. A small, peaceful smile. And from that moment, something shifted. Not suddenly, not dramatically. Just gently. Their connection grew. Not through grand gestures, but through quiet presence. They began to walk together in the evenings, slow walks through empty streets. The sound of their footsteps, soft, steady. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they didn't, and both felt completely at ease. Seasons began to change. The air grew cooler. Leaves moved softly in the wind, and still, their rhythm remained the same. One night, as they walked under a calm sky, Elena stopped for a moment. She looked up at the stars. Then, gently, she said, "I didn't expect to find this." Daniel stood beside her. "Find what?" She took a slow breath. "This feeling." Her voice was soft. "Something quiet, but real." Daniel understood. He did not need to search for words. "I didn't expect it either," he said, "but I'm glad it found us." They stood there for a while, under the still sky, wrapped in silence, but not a lone dot, and as the night deepened, their story continued, not as something loud or fast, but as something steady, something calm, something that simply stayed. Now, as you listen, you may begin to feel your body becoming heavier, your thoughts slowing down, your breathing softer. The story continues quietly, but you don't need to follow every word. You can simply drift, resting in the calm feeling of it all. Because this kind of story does not rush. It moves gently, asterisk, just like the night, just like your breath. And somewhere in a quiet place, two people sit together, a soft silence, feeling at peace, and you can rest here too, in that same calm, that same gentle warmth. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let your mind drift slowly. Let the quiet carry you. And as the story fades into the soft darkness, you can simply sleep, softly, peacefully, and deeply. As the quiet night continues to stretch, the story does not truly end. It simply becomes softer, like a distant memory or a gentle dream that stays, even when words fade away. Daniel and Elena remain there. In that small, quiet town, the bookstore still stands, with its wooden shelves and the soft scent of paper. Morning light still enters through the window, slowly, gently, and each day begins just as calmly as before, but now there is a quiet difference. Daniel no longer watches the morning alone. Sometimes Elena is there, sitting by the window, holding a warm cup, her presence soft and familiar. They do not always speak, and they do not need to, because the silence between them is still warm, still safe, and now it feels like home days pass in the same slow rhythm. Books are opened, pages are turned, light moves across the floor, and outside, the town remains peaceful. The sound of distant footsteps, the whisper of wind, the quiet passing of time. Everything continues, as it always has, and yet everything feels just a little more complete. In the evenings, they still walk together, side by side. Their steps are slow, unhurried. Sometimes their hands gently meet, not suddenly, not with surprise. Just naturally, as if they have always been there, and when their fingers rest together, there is no tension, only warmth, only calm. The sky above them changes. Soft blue, then orange, then deep, quiet night. Stars appear, one by one, and they walk beneath them, not searching, not asking, just being. Sometimes Elena leans her head slightly closer, and Daniel simply stays beside her, steady, gentle, like a quiet place that never fades. Their story does not rush forward. There are no sudden turns, no loud moments, only small, simple days woven together like soft threads. Seasons pass quietly. Cool air becomes warm. Warm days become soft evenings. Leaves fall and grow again. And still, their connection remains unchanged, unshaken. Calm. Sometimes they sit together in the bookstore. As the light slowly fades, a book rests open, but unread because the moment itself is enough, and in that stillness, they feel it, not as something strong or overwhelming, but as something steady, a quiet kind of love that does not need to prove itself, but does not need to speak loudly. It simply exists, like the soft sound of pages turning, like the calm of evening air, like the slow rhythm of breath. And now as you listen, you may feel your body becoming even more relaxed, your thoughts drifting. Like clouds in a quiet sky, there is nothing to hold on to, nothing to follow closely, only a soft feeling, a gentle presence. Daniel and Elena remain somewhere in that quiet place, walking slowly, breathing calmly, resting in each moment. And you can rest too. Let your mind soften. Let your body sink deeper. Let the calm of this story wrap around you. The night is quiet. The air is still, and everything is exactly as it should be. You're safe here. You're calm. You are at rest. And as the story gently fades, like distant light, you can simply drift, softly, peacefully, and deeply into sleep, softly, peacefully, and deeply. And even as sleep begins to come closer, the story continues in a very quiet way, not as something you must follow, but as something you can simply feel, like a soft presence resting somewhere in the background. The night in the small town grows deeper, windows dim one by one, lights turning low. The streets become still, and the air feels cool and gentle. Inside the bookstore, a single lamp glows softly. Daniel moves slowly between the shelves, closing a book, straightening another. His steps are quiet, almost soundless. And near the window, Elena sits, watching the darkness settle outside. She does not rush to leave, because this place, this moment, feels calm and complete. After a while, Daniel walks closer and sits beside her. Not too close, not too far, just enough. They both look outside, at the quiet street, the soft shadows, the still night. No words are spoken, and yet everything is understood. Time passes gently, like a slow breath, like a soft wave coming and going. Then Elena turns slightly, her voice calm. Do you ever wish time would stay like this? Daniel listens and answers in the same soft tone. Sometimes I think it does. In moments like this, she nods, as if she understands completely. And again, silence returns, but it is not empty. It is full of comfort, full of quiet connection. Outside, the stars seem a little brighter. The sky stretches wide and still, and the world feels very far away. Eventually, they stand slowly, as if not to disturb the calm. The bookstore closes for the night. The door opens, and the cool air greets them. They step outside together and begin to walk. Their path is familiar. The same quiet streets, the same soft turns, but each step still feels new because they are walking it together. A gentle breeze moves past them, carrying a faint sound, like distant leaves, like a quiet whisper. Elena pulls her coat slightly closer, and Daniel notices, without a word. He walks just a little nearer, offering warmth, not by action, but simply by being there. They continue like this, step by step, breath by breath. No need to hurry. No need to arrive anywhere, because the journey itself is already enough. After some time, they reach a quiet place, a small open space where the sky feels even wider. They stop and look up. The stars above are steady, unchanging, soft points of light. Elena takes a slow breath. This feels peaceful. She whispers. Daniel nods. It does. Another gentle pause. Then she says, I think I will remember this moment, even when it's gone. Daniel looks at the sky and then softly replies, maybe it never really goes. Maybe it just becomes part of us. She smiles, a quiet, thoughtful smile, and they stand there, not thinking too much, not trying to hold on to anything, just being. The night continues around them. Slow, steady, calm, and as you listen, your own thoughts may begin to fade, becoming softer, less clear, like distant echoes. Your body feels heavier now, more relaxed, more at ease. There is no need to stay fully awake. You can let the story carry you. Daniel and Elena remain under the quiet sky, their presence calm, their connection gentle, and you can rest beside this feeling. Let your breath slow down, soft, even, steady. Let your mind drift further. Nothing needs to be finished. Nothing needs to be understood. Only this moment, only this calm. The story does not end. It simply becomes quieter, like a whisper fading into the night. And as everything softens, you can gently and naturally fall asleep, softly, peacefully, and deeply, softly, peacefully, and deeply. And now the story comes to its quiet rest, not with an ending that feels final, but with a calm that gently settles, like the night wrapping around everything. Daniel and Elena remain, not as something distant, but as a soft feeling, a memory of quiet connection, a reminder that not all love needs to be loud. Not all moments need to be strong. Some things are meant to be gentle, slow, and steady, like a calm breath, like the stillness of night, like the quiet comfort of simply being. And as their story fades into the background, you may notice your thoughts have become lighter, your body more relaxed, your breathing slow and even. There is nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold on to, only rest. Let the calm stay with you, like a soft blanket, like a quiet presence. You have reached the end of this gentle journey, and now you can let go. Let your mind drift completely. Let your body sink deeper into rest. The night is still, the world is quiet, and you are safe. Everything is calm. Everything is at peace. And now, without effort, without thought, you can sleep softly, peacefully, and deeply.